Hello, Matthew Armstrong here,
I'm Victoria Whitehead.
and we've got an announcement to make. First of all, a lot of people had comments after we finished the Juice Feast, asking how's Victoria getting on? Has she kept the weight off? And she's not too bothered about keeping the weight off now because we found out recently that she's pregnant and we're going to have a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to have a vegan baby. So that's what we wanted to tell you about that, and also talk about vegan pregnancy as well, and how to be healthy on a vegan pregnancy. So this can be maybe the first video of that, and Victoria will be making future videos about that. What do you want to share, Victoria?
Yeah. So I found out last week that I was 3 weeks pregnant. So I'm 4 weeks pregnant at the moment, and I was kind of undecided about whether to share it so early on in the pregnancy, and then I had a realization that if I didn't share it, it would be out of fear that something might happen. And whilst I was doing the Juice Feast, I made a commitment that I wasn't going to allow fear to prevent me from doing anything in life, because in the past I let it hold me back so much. So now I'm just going to trust that if I eat the right foods and I look after myself during my pregnancy, that I'm going to have a happy, healthy baby.
Think the right thoughts.
Think the right thoughts.
Feel the right feelings.
Yeah. And
Take the right actions.
Trusting that everything's going to be well. And so I decided to share it today.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday we went down and I got some blood tests done. It was my first blood test I can actually ever remember having gotten. So.
Apart from live blood analysis.
Oh, well, apart from live blood analysis, which I've had done a few times. And this one, we went down to the clinic, and Matthew and my Spanish, it's not very good, I'm afraid. But it's very basic. And so I told her I wanted a blood test, and she thought I wanted a pregnancy test. So then I had to explain to her, no, I already know I'm pregnant, I actually want to get tested for different elements in my blood. So we asked for iron, calcium, vitamin B12, vitamin D, and then all the rest of it she just does anyway, which is stuff I don't really understand, but they test for your leukocytes and your hemoglobin, cholesterol, and things like that.
Triglycerides and all that.
But they do that anyway, we didn't ask for that. So yeah, the cholesterol was normal, as to be expected, because I think it's very difficult to have high cholesterol when you're vegan anyway.
Cholesterol was good.
Yeah, cholesterol was very good. And my vitamin D was great. But then Matthew and I are avid sun lovers, so...
And we live in the sunshine, so...
And we expected the vitamin D to be
That's
good.
one thing as a vegan is, especially if you live in colder climates, you don't have as much sun, then your vitamin D levels might be low, so you want to make sure that you get sun, you get your skin out in the sun, even if it is cold, you get a sunny day, get out in it, even if you're going out for a run with your shirt off or something like that, you know.
Yeah, and my iron was pretty good. It was 47, what's that, is that a picogram, a microgram? Mm. It's a little U symbol.
Yes, micrograms.
Microgram over DL, and it should be between 37 and 158, so it was in the normal range. Mm-hmm. And the only thing which was it was a bit of a problem was the vitamin B12. My B12 was 109 picograms over ml, and it should be, to be within the normal range, 180
should be.
To
850. 850.
So it's quite low, and the woman in the clinic, she actually came over to me and pointed it out and said, you know, this is very, very low, you need to take a supplement for this. So I was quite worried when we left the clinic yesterday, especially, you know, because I'm pregnant and I wanted
to... Vitamin B12 in kombucha tea, great source of vitamin B12.
Yeah. So I came home and I was a little bit panicked, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And we did lots of research on the internet and read different articles on B12 and how it affects the body and how it affects a growing baby, and so I was kind of thought, okay, I must go down and get some supplementation, and I know Matthew's not into supplementation really.
Well, if you need it, sure, take it. You know, if you need it, but you should be able to get most things from your food. If you're eating good nutrition, then you shouldn't need a supplement. But if it can help, sure. I'm not against anything. You know, I think everything's helpful at some time.
Yeah. So we decided to go down to the chemist. I was watching Durian Ryder's videos, and he was talking about the different types of B12 shots that you can get. And so I went down to the pharmacist and I asked for B12. It's amazing the different prices. For the cyanocobalamin, it was only like €2.60 or something.
Yeah, pennies.
But that's one he said not to get. He said to get either the hydroxycobalamin or the methylcobalamin. And for that one, it was €59. Like it's huge, the difference.
Yeah.
In price, but the pharmacist couldn't tell us why. But what he did say is, because I'm pregnant, not to get shots, not to get the injections, just to take a prenatal nutrition, which is supplement which has everything in that you need, like the folic acid and the B12. And he also looked at my results, and he said it's very, very possible that before I was pregnant, all of the results were fine. My B12 was fine and my calcium was fine. And what he said is it's just probably because I'm in the very early stages of pregnancy that the baby is utilising those minerals now in my body, and so that's what's caused the drastic drop, is because I'm pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if I'd had a test done before I was pregnant, all of those levels could have been normal.
Yeah, like Victoria's not showing any symptoms of B12 deficiency, and it is normal in the early stage of pregnancy that the baby takes 3 times of what will actually show up in a blood test. The baby actually has 3 times that already. That's utilizing that to create the spinal cord and the nervous system and everything like that. So even if it does show up at 109, what it could really be is about 450 or something. But it's actually just showing up as 109 on a blood test. But these normal ranges, what it should be, what it shouldn't be. Who knows? According to whom, these scientific tests, it changes all the time. What was normal 20 years ago is completely different today. I'm not big into blood tests myself. Obviously they can be helpful, but they can also induce fear. Where Victoria got that test done yesterday, and before that, she was really happy, sending good happy vibes to the baby and everything, and then suddenly having that blood test, suddenly was this fear of, oh, maybe my baby's not getting enough B12, and all this, and that obviously that fear, that actually depletes more minerals and vitamins from the body, by putting it into like a more of an acidic state, having those emotions going through the body, so that is actually going to have a more detrimental effect than maybe the deficiency, the supposed deficiency. So then as soon as today, she went down and spoke to the pharmacist, and actually the pharmacist in Spain, I don't know about different places in the world, but in Spain my experience has been really, really positive, really, really helpful, really good, often quite open-minded, and also into like herbal medicine as well quite often. So the pharmacist was really nice, and he said, oh, that's no problem. He looked at the numbers on the list and said, that's fine, just make sure you're taking your prenatal nutrition, and that's all you need. Don't worry about getting the shots or anything. That all looks good to me. And then suddenly that fear was gone, and all Victoria needed was that little bit of someone telling her it was okay, and that bit of a reassurance. So sometimes these tests can put people in fear, and people are going to the doctors all the time, getting tests for this, getting their cervical test, getting their tested for this, that, and the other, and then getting cancer tests all the time, and it's this fear because they're going there, and then they're sitting there in fear, waiting for the test results to come back and everything, and all you need to do is just live a good, healthy lifestyle and get the nutrition in, get the sunshine in, exercise. Don't worry about all that stuff. They actually see that the people that live the longest, the healthiest people in the world, are the people that go to the doctors the least, the people that get the tests the least. They go and get their file from the doctors, and their file is that thin because they hardly ever go. People that go all the time, they die young, and they've got a big thick file that size. So, through this vegan pregnancy, funny the pharmacist said,
who's controlling your pregnancy?
Yeah, he said, who's controlling your pregnancy, in his Spanish accent. And what did you say?
I said, I am.
And he said, which doctor? And doctor here, doctor in Ireland. And Victoria said, I'm controlling it. And he goes, oh, you're controlling it? And he said, very dangerous. And then he caught himself on a bit, and he goes, actually, it's not very dangerous. So it was quite funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to be doing a few videos, not every day, because I found during the Juice Feast that was a bit much for me, but maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, and I'll just share different information, what food I've been eating, and anything that I've learned or any new understandings I've come across, and yeah, my aspirations for the baby, and just talk about having a healthy vegan baby, and I'll just trust that it will be a healthy vegan baby.
Yeah. You got to have faith, right? You got to have belief in, you know, creation and your body and what it can do, and the nutrition, you know, nature's nutrition, because you know this will also be helpful having a vegan pregnancy, having a vegan baby, because there obviously are many vegans out there, raw vegans, etc., that have very healthy pregnancies, very healthy babies. But it's not actually that publicized. So there's a lot of people who go into fear and think that they have to suddenly start eating dairy, they suddenly have to start eating meat when they get pregnant, even if they're vegan or vegetarian, because often they've been put into fear. They go to the doctor and the doctor goes, "What? You know, that's dangerous for your baby. You need to eat meat, you need to eat dairy, you need to do all these things," and they start doing it. Or they might even just get cravings and think, well, I've got these cravings, it must be the baby needing it. Well, that's not true either when you look at what most people eat when they're pregnant, and the nutrition is often much worse than what they would normally eat. So it's not that the baby needs the meat or the dairy, the baby just needs good nutrition, and taking good nutrition, and you know, keep yourself in a good state, good emotional state, and keep yourself healthy, and that's really it, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to scan in my results and maybe put them over the top of when we were talking about it, so that you can actually see the exact amounts.
Okay,
and,
you can hold it up there.
Yeah, no, we'll scan it in
Okay.
and see how that works. Yeah.
Okay, so thanks for watching. My name is Matthew Armstrong.
And I'm Victoria Whitehead.
Tune in next time.